I'm joined by the Majority Leader of the United States Senate, Senator John Thune of South Dakota, to get the latest on when we're going to get these people paid. I know, Senator Thune, you were at the White House today. Why don't you recap for the audience the intransigence of Chuck Schumer?
Right. Well, I'll tell you, Hugh, as you know, I've been very clear. I've been willing to sit down with Democrats. They want to discuss the growing unaffordability and unsustainability of Obamacare. And I've said I'm willing to give them a vote, but it's under one condition. They've got to end the Schumer shutdown, open up the government. I mean, we can't negotiate under hostage conditions, and that's where we are right now. As you know, we have a bill to fund the government, passed the House, sitting on the desk at the Senate. The president's ready to sign it. The government could open up today. We just need a handful of Democrats to join us because, as you know, it takes a supermajority, 60 votes in the Senate, to pass anything consequential. And Democrats continue to resist. They just voted for the 11th time to keep the government shut down. So that's where we are, but you're right. It has a lot of impacts on a lot of people, including federal employees who aren't getting paid.
Now, Leader Thune, I remain amazed at just the inability of Senator Schumer to articulate a reason for this. But Josh Holmes, one of the fellows, and you've done ride-alongs with Ruthless Program before, offered today that this might be a giant GOTV, that they're trying to get out the vote in Northern Virginia. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me because federal workers are pretty smart about who's keeping the government shut. It's the Democrat. What do you make of Josh's theory?
I think there's always a political. You know, Chuck Schumer doesn't do anything that doesn't have a political component to it. And honestly, I think that's what's driving this, Hugh. If you think about it, there really isn't any other explanation. I think they're so scared of their hardcore base. But to your point, if you're trying to win races in places like Virginia or Maryland, you got an awful lot of people who, they pay attention to what's going on, as you pointed out, and they've got to know. They've got to know that we've been trying now for weeks to open up the government. We've got a clean funding resolution sitting at the desk in the Senate. All we have to do is get a handful of Democrats to vote for it. So if I'm a Virginia federal employee or Virginia voter for that matter, I think I would be calling my senators from Virginia and saying, what are you guys doing and when are you going to vote to open up the government?
I certainly wouldn't be voting for Spanberger
Right.
as a way of rewarding Democrats for making me miss paychecks. Leader Thune, when you had a chance to talk to the president, is there enough money to be found in the Pentagon to pay the troops another check? They scraped it together last go around. That's the one, I don't like anyone not getting paid when they're working, but I especially don't like people who can't quit.
Right, and we want, Republicans want our troops to get paid. We want the men and women of the Border Patrol to get paid. We want TSA agents, ATC, air traffic control, every federal employee to get their paychecks. And that's what voting on the clean CR represents. They want, the Democrats that is, far left progressive activists, be less mad at them. I mean, that's really what we're talking about here. So I just think in the end, Hugh, that it's a simple choice for them, and they can get the government back open or they can choose to keep letting the far left call the shots. I think the majority of the country is starting to see through this and is going to continue to move against them. But it doesn't seem like they care. I think they are so fearful, so afraid, so running scared from that far left base, which is where the money in Democrat politics is. The small donor stuff. It's where the activists. It's where the energy is, and frankly, that's where a lot of people end up getting primaried. And I think these Democrats here in the Senate are afraid of that.
Now, Leader, do you think they want Russ Vought to come out of OMB with the axe? President Trump called him our Darth Vader. He hadn't done anything very radical thus far, but do you think the Democrats want him to do that?
It's almost in a way, I don't know if they think that makes them look like martyrs or create this cult of victimology for their cause, because it's not going to work. I mean, what they're doing is they're costing themselves and their states. I mean, obviously, any president, if forced with the decisions that President Trump and Russ Vought and others on his team are going to make decisions about where to put money, where to allocate resources based on their priorities. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And that's going to mean that a lot of these states like New York are probably going to get, ones that get hurt by that, because they're going to be thinking about where do we put the how do we decide which departments, which agencies, which federal employees are, essential, which aren't, which ones get paid, which don't. Those are all decisions that in a shutdown the administration has to make, and they're clearly going to make them based on their own priorities, and those are not going to be the priorities the Democrats want.
Can we also talk about regular order for appropriations? Senator Collins is chair of the Appropriations Committee. I want to talk to you about Janet Mills wanting to be a freshman senator at the age of 79 in just a moment. But first, are you ready to proceed with regular order if they reopen the government?
Absolutely, and we've told them that repeatedly, and as recently as Thursday last week, we gave them a chance to vote on the defense appropriations bill. That was simply to get on the bill. I mean, it's a cloture on the motion to proceed to the bill. They have two other times where they'll have the backstop of a 60-vote threshold where they could block or stop that bill if they wanted to. They wouldn't even let us get on the appropriations bill that pays the troops. These people are not acting in a rational manner. And they seem to be flailing about. I can't figure it out, what it is exactly that they want. I mean, they want to have a conversation about Obamacare, fine, open up the government, and we'll do that. And that's kind of been the message we've been consistently delivering to them. And then we've even offered up a vote. We'll give you a vote on your proposal. But we want to get the appropriations process going, which is something Democrats have said in the past they want to do as well. And yet we tried to get a bill up on the floor last week, the defense appropriations bill, and they blocked it. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Again, the other political thing I don't understand, they're wheeling out Janet Mills, who's the governor of Maine. I spent a lot of time in Maine. She's far left. She got in an argument with President Trump in the White House about letting boys play in girls' sports. And she's up against Susan Collins, and she's the Democrats are underscoring the importance of Chairwoman Collins' position for Maine. It just seems like first-grade politics. It's so dumb.
Right. Yeah, and I guess, I mean, I thought maybe when they got their big protests out of the way this weekend, there'd be a few of them with the courage to come around and do the right thing. But, yeah, they are exactly highlighting Susan Collins' effectiveness and her role in the appropriations process. So, I think that it's going to take five more Democrats to come to their senses and open up the government. But, you're just going to start seeing it, Hugh. You're already seeing it. Travel delays, benefit delays, impacts to farmers, millions of people missing paychecks, all because Democrats are appeasing their far-left base. And that far-left base seems to be demanding that people like Janet Mills run. And I don't know why somebody in her season of life would want to get in the middle of a race like this, especially against somebody as capable and talented as a campaigner as Susan Collins. And so
to be a freshman senator at 79 is one of the more ridiculous propositions I've ever given, that everything in your body operates on seniority, like literally everything. I just don't understand. Last question. How many times do you expect to offer Democrats the opportunity to reopen the government this week, Leader Thune?
Well, we'll give them another one tomorrow, and then we move in on Thursday. Ron Johnson has a proposal. I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's kind of the equivalent of an automatic CR, but it pays everybody who is, quote, accepted. In other words, everybody who is an essential employee that's still working. So if you're working, it doesn't cover furloughed employees. They'll get back pay, but if you're working, you should get paid. So it's a different way of sort of getting a vote on this, and but it would require anybody who's working in the federal government to get paid. We're going to see what the Democrats do with that one.
Well, that's going to strip the camouflage off of the Northern Virginia get out the vote effort. Leader Thune, thank you as always for joining me. Hang tough. You have been communicating well and effortlessly the same message, which is we do not negotiate when we're being held hostage, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Leader Thune. The president today held a presser, and he trolled just about everybody, but what I liked is he trolled Mamdani as well. Cut number 18.
But he's going to explain there might be some dark, deep psychological reason where they want to vote the opposite way. I don't know what it is, but we have to win the midterms. Otherwise, all of the things that we've done, so many of them are going to be taken away by the radical left lunatics. I mean, we're going to end up with a communist mayor in New York. Can you believe it? A communist. Remember, I would always say, we will not have a socialist elected in our country. Remember, I'd say that all the time. And I was right. We skipped socialists. We got a communist elected. So I didn't tell a lie. I didn't tell a lie. I was right. We'll have a communist, not a socialist.
I agree with him. He's an anti-Semitic communist. And New York, your fate is in your hands. Vote for Andrew Cuomo. I know he's damaged goods, but he does know how to run a larger organization than a state assemblyman who's got a staff of 10 to 12 people. Truly one of the most suicidal votes that anyone can ever take. It doesn't work. It's never worked. Take a trip to Cuba. Go visit North Korea. Go look at the security state in China. It only works for totalitarians and communists when they destroy everything around them except the party. Comrade Mamdani, bad news, vote for Cuomo. I'll be right back, America.